You ever need to pound nails with a knife? You ever want to bring out your inner pirate? Hey, how about a Blackhawk ridiculously large Nightedge Elishewitz blade made in Taiwan, piece of rebar that somebody sharpened into the shape of a knife and put handle scales on. This thing is crazy.
Where are you going? Get out of the way!
So if you remember from my knives for police and security work video, I had this big old honking knife that I got issued to me when I was on the SWAT team. My department listened to a not 100% scrupulous dealer who said that this would be a great knife to have for SWAT, and I wasn't really in a position to argue with him, and so free knife is a free knife, and I ended up with this thing. I will say about the Blackhawk Elishewitz Nightedge that at least it has a pretty good, well thought out sheath. This is the polymer sheath that it comes with, and it has a little tab on here that allows you to retain the knife inside without having to have a little snap, which I guess is good for a fixed blade knife. Having the little tab snap thing was always a pain in the butt trying to get them off of your belt. And it also attached to molly webbing, so it was something I didn't have to put on my belt. I could attach it to the front of the vest. But everything about the knife is pretty silly, to be completely honest with you. I mean, I'm not a super big knife guy. I don't love knives. Like, I don't think about them at night before I go to sleep or anything. But I have knives that I have fun with. The Cold Steel Raja 2, my little mini hatchet that I did a whole video on, where I talked about how it was the most ridiculous knife that I own, and it still is, but I have fun with it. I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I have my knife that I use every day for work. It's kind of nice, a CRK2 Thunderbolt 2. It's not a bad knife. It does everything I need it to do. It does it fairly well. I have pretty high-end knives. I have my little Benchmade dagger. It was probably $200. My wife doesn't know I spent $200 on this, but it was probably like $200, and it's really cool. But this thing isn't that cool. It's not really useful. I mean, it's heavy enough where you could pound nails with it. I didn't weigh the thing, but I can tell you for sure, for absolutely sure, that when I compare this knife to my backup gun, the knife's a little heavier. I mean, this is a .357 Magnum revolver. Granted, it's a Scandium, one of the little airweight ones, but this is a gun. This is a knife. This is insanely, insanely heavy. There's no reason for the knife to be that heavy. They overbuilt the living crap out of it, and I guess that plays to a certain audience. So if you're the type of person that likes a knife that's overbuilt like crazy that you could pry crates open with, then I guess this might be for you. I will give it that it looks cool, and when I first got it I was like, hey, free cool knife. But in reality it didn't have a whole lot of application. It's got a lot of things on it that I don't see how it would apply to police or security use. I've never been in the military, so I don't know if this would make a good military knife, although with the weight of it, if I was a soldier, I would probably want to go with something that had a straight edge that I'd be able to sharpen more easily, and is for a more established manufacturer, but it does have some interesting features. I mean, it is very thick. You probably could use it as a pry bar. It has a lanyard hole in the back. I know some guys like lanyard holes on their fixed blade knives. I've never really found it to be useful for anything, because if I need to use a knife for chopping things where I'm worried about it flying out of my hand, I wear gloves, and I also use a hatchet. I guess you could stab people pretty well with it. You can see the edge of the blade there is fairly precise. It's a nice thick knife. I'm sure it would hurt if you stabbed somebody with it, but realistically I just don't have any use for the thing. So kind of a lukewarm review on, hey, what's that big fixed blade knife? What's it called? Can you talk more about that? But there you have it. I've just never had any really use for these enormous fixed blade tactical knives with two different types of serrations on them that are overbuilt like crazy. And that really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody if you've watched a lot of the channel. But I do have it. It's not that I don't like these because I don't have experience with them or I just don't know about good knives. I have one of these knives and I've never found any use for it. It just sits in my garage. If you want to see more about knives, I've got a couple of videos and a playlist that you can see up here in the corner. You can click on those. Until next week, you guys be safe and take care of each other. I'd like to thank all the Patreon supporters, and especially the shift supervisor level Patreon supporters that we have listed here. Your contributions are what allows free field training to continue on and become better. Thank you.